Welcome to the Roy Morgan Weekly Update. This week, the Coalition has maintained its two-party preferred lead on 52%, unchanged from a week ago, and narrowly ahead of the ALP on 48%. If a federal election were held now, the result would be a coalition government with a slim majority. Now, despite no change on that two-party preferred basis, there were significant movements on primary voting intention. On the right or conservative side of politics, the coalition lost support, down 1.5% to 40.5%, but One Nation picked up support, increasing 2% to 6%. While on the left, the ALP gained 1% to 29.5%, but the Greens dropped 1.5% to 11.5%. Importantly, as we head towards an election with the Greens defending 4 seats in the House of Representatives, this is the lowest level of support for the Greens for over a year, since 2023. Greens leader Adam Bandt has been largely silent on the rising problem of anti-Semitism in the community, and last week credited Australian street protests with helping bring about the current ceasefire in the conflict between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. In better news for the government confidence, that's whether people think the country's going in the right direction or the wrong direction, rebounded 5 points to 77. But of course at 77, this is still well below the neutral level of 100. A clear majority of Australians, 54.5%, say the country's going in the wrong direction, while only 31.5% say the country's heading in the right direction. Consumer confidence, ANZ Roy Morgan consumer confidence was virtually unchanged at 86 this week, with buying sentiment softening for a third straight week, just offset by slightly more positive views about people's personal finances and the economy over the next year. This week, inflation expectations dropped, down 0.2% to 5%. So Australians are now expecting annual inflation to be 5% over each of the next 2 years. Now, in some good news for the Albanese government, the official ABS inflation estimates released today show Consumer Price Index, or CPI, dropping to 2.4% for the year to December 2024. That's down 0.4% from the year to September 2024. And the important trimmed mean estimate, that's the one that removes the impact of such things as food, petrol and energy, which can be volatile, also dropped down 0.4% to 3.2%. But of particular importance are the last 2 quarterly CPI estimates, each at only 0.2%. That's an equivalent to an annual inflation figure of less than 1%. So the fall in inflation, especially over the last 2 quarters, increases the likelihood the Reserve Bank will cut interest rates in mid-February, and we may see an election sooner rather than later. Now to the key issues facing Australians as we head towards a federal election. Roy Morgan's in-depth survey data interviews over 50,000 Australian electors each and every year and asks them what they see as the 3 most important issues to them. Cost of living increasingly dominates voter concerns, with several related issues rising significantly since mid-2022, the last federal election. So the blue bars on the chart represent issues of the last election, and the red bars are now. The most important issue is clearly keeping cost of day-to-day living costs down. A majority of Australians, 57%, say keeping costs down is one of their top 3 issues. Now this is up 7 percentage points since the last election. Also increasing are keeping interest rates down, up 8% to 19%, and managing immigration and population growth, surging 8 percentage points to 14%. The sharp rise in immigration-related concerns is during a period which Australia's had record high immigration, and housing affordability issues have been top of mind for many Australians. At the same time, public anxiety about safety has escalated significantly, with reducing crime and maintaining law and order jumping 10 percentage points to 23%, the largest increase for any issue. In contrast, the issue that's fallen rapidly in importance is global warming and climate change. That's down 9 percentage points to only 23%. Open and honest government is also down. That's down 6% to 19%. And now to the latest Roy Morgan estimates on mortgage stress that show an increase in December, a second straight monthly increase. Now, 27.9% of all Australians with a mortgage are at risk of mortgage stress. That's up 1.1% from a month earlier. However, it's still down 2.4% since June 2024, before those stage 3 tax cuts. The decline in mortgage stress since June is primarily due to rising household incomes since the tax cuts. However, the increase in mortgage stress in both November and December show the boost received by households from those stage 3 tax cuts appears to have already run its course. Thanks for your interest this week in Roy Morgan's latest data. I'll be back to talk to you next week to bring you the most up-to-date readings on consumer confidence, inflation expectations, voting intentions, and we'll also be looking at business confidence. Thanks for listening.